Today in the Texas Tribune Weekend Insider, what do lawmakers do when they get stuck between legislating and voters? They let the courts decide. Ross Ramsey explains government by lawsuit. The eyes of Texas are on Rick Perry as he makes his run for the White House. But what if you're a Texas Republican who doesn't support the governor? Emily Ramshaw talks about the risks and rationale of those who endorse other candidates.
Yeah, so the idea here is that there are some things that the legislature is just loath to do, that they're afraid to do because they're afraid voters are going to come back at them. For example, when you present them with the school finance problem, it always presents as either you have to either cut some school spending or you have to raise some money. You know, school finance works like this. You're trying to balance rich districts and poor districts. So you either cut the amount of money these guys have, that's unpopular, or you raise taxes and give more money to these guys, and that's unpopular. So the legislature just freezes. What has happened every time they've frozen, over the last, 20 or 30 or 40 years is that eventually the courts come in and say, hey, your system's out of balance, you have to fix it. And the legislature comes in and says, oh, well, now that we have this gun to our head in the form of a court order or threatened court action, we'll do whatever it is we need to do. And it used to be sort of a whispered, well, we never do anything except when the courts hold a gun to our head. And now people just say that outright. If the taxpayers and voters aren't sending them a clear signal, they got to wait for another signal, and it often comes from the courts. And it's often sort of baked into the cake. The lawmakers are sort of like, we're not going to fix that until we go to court. I guess without a clear signal, they're frozen, and it takes the courts to thaw them out.
There are a pretty wide range of Texas officials, some elected, some, state leaders, who have decided for one reason or another that they are not supporting Rick Perry for president. Anyone will say that that is a politically risky move. Whether Perry ends up in the White House, where clearly he wields authority over members of Congress, or whether he comes back to Texas and is back in the governor's mansion, where he has a thick veto pen and clearly can play a role in killing the legislation of state lawmakers. It's risky business always to go against someone who's seen as the front runner in your state. A lot of the high-profile people who have come out and endorsed someone other than Perry, members of Congress, for example, what they've said is, look, Perry came into this race late. A lot of us were already committed to other candidates before Perry announced. They went and talked to Perry, and he, confirmed to them, I am not running for president. And so they felt okay to go ahead with it. Now that Perry has entered the race, these gentlemen have said, we're true to our word. We're not going to switch now. But they also think that given the choice between, say, someone like Gingrich or someone like Romney and Perry, that those other candidates are better choices, better possibilities, would have a better chance to defeat Barack Obama than Rick Perry would.